story, Morella, is really kind of scary. If you want a good scary story, it's short, where this guy marries this woman who he loves her and she's beautiful and all sort of stuff, but they'll be hanging out together and she reads a lot of really kind of old and freaky dark ritual type stuff, and they'll just be hanging out for a while, and all of a sudden everything will get really scary. And he can't explain why, and there's this unexplained dread and terror, and he begins wishing for the day that she dies. And she is finally on her deathbed, but she's also pregnant, and she gives birth to a daughter and says, "You hated me," and all this sort of stuff. And he's just been freaked out by these sort of dark rituals and things that she reads, and she has her baby daughter, and he starts loving her and taking care of her. She dies giving childbirth, and he's taking care of this girl, and all of a sudden at a very young age the girl starts speaking exactly like her mother. And as she grows up, the girl continues to speak exactly like her mother. And finally, he refrains from naming her. He's afraid to give her a name. He hasn't taken her to baptism yet, and she's starting to act in the exact same way as her mother. And she gets to her deathbed, and he finally needs to baptize her and give her a name. And he takes her to be baptized, and she's baptized. And he's trying to think of any name in the world, and he shouts out Morella, his wife's name. He can't stop himself. And then you hear from the grave Morella saying, "I am here." And then he takes his daughter to be buried, and Morella's gone. Freaky. All because of this sort of dark ritual stuff that she believed. And you get that also in Frankenstein, the idea that Victor Frankenstein is reading stuff you're not supposed to be reading. Oh, that's old, it's outdated, and it's dangerous. These are the new scientists who are supposed to, be right. That stuff, nobody, that's superstitious, nobody pays attention to that anymore. And he takes it and makes a monster. So you get that at a lot of, again, H.P. Lovecraft, a lot of his stuff has references to dark ritual, Call of Cthulhu and Shadow over Innsmouth and that sort of thing. You've got the end of this. It's 7:40 already. Wow. Okay, we're going to go on jet tour here. You've also got, the Death Eaters at the beginning of this are kind of scary. They're freaky. I mean, they end up being a bunch of dunderheads, but at the beginning they're kind of freaky. You've got the Dark Mark, that's kind of frightening. And then you've got the ending with Apologies Potion and all of that. And some people have called this a Scooby-Doo ending. I don't, we all know the plot hole fell with the fire. We don't need to go over it again. Why didn't fake Moody turn his pumpkin juice into a portkey? Why that whole elaborate thing? But the ending I still think is really well done. It's really kind of scary. If somebody, by the way, not now, but if you've come up with a great explanation of that particular plot hole, you have. We'll talk about it later. Very good. Because I've put this challenge out many times and haven't gotten a good answer yet. So if somebody has one, that'd be great. Still a great book. I mean, come on. Everybody's got one plot hole here, though. Even the best authors. Anyway, great ending, great disgusting ending, great horrifying ending, terrifying ending, and Harry really, he ends this one by losing. And this is going to move him straight into the darkest year of his life. I mean, every other year he's come out of it, really, he won. He accomplished what he set out to accomplish. He saved Ginny, he found the Chamber of Secrets, he got the Philosopher's Stone, he saved himself, he got Sirius free. This time, it doesn't work. Cedric dies, Voldemort's back, everything's going the wrong way. And so we go to Order of the Phoenix, where, again, we have mysterious dreams of locked doors. And we have Dumbledore distant, and Harry's left alone, and he's kind of broken down and stripped of everything. His friends aren't writing to him, he doesn't know what's going on. And you get this great Gothic atmosphere, the House of Black, where you've got dead people screaming at you from the walls, and you've got dead house elves mounted, and you've got the one live house elf saying, "I can't wait till I'm mounted up there." And all sorts of freaky stuff. And you've got Molly in the bogger, and she can't face it, and just a dark and terrifying atmosphere for the entire book. And this is the book where the evil that is out there somewhere that Harry believes one day he'll have to go and defeat comes home to Harry. And Harry, for the first time, has to start wrestling more than ever, more than even the mystery and Chamber of Secrets. There might be something wrong with me. Like, I have a serious problem here. I attacked Arthur Weasley. I was the snake, And so here Harry's beginning to wrestle with this whole concept of, am I losing my ability to choose? I want to do is good, but am I going to become evil regardless of what I want to do? And so Harry now begins not to battle with the Voldemort out there, but the Voldemort within, even though he doesn't know he's got a soul piece stuck in the scar yet. He's starting to battle with the evil within. And you got Sirius's famous line that the world has been split up into good guys and Death Eaters, right? Now that's coming home to Harry. I'm not the good guy versus the Death Eaters. I've got to deal with stuff in me as well. And that's why Harry has to be stripped of everything. He can't be the superhero. He can't be the unknown orphan who comes out of nowhere and just saves the world. He's got to be torn down. And that's what happens in this book with all this Gothic stuff that goes on. So Harry gives into deception and is rooted in self-importance, right? His saving people thing. That he can't think for a moment he might be deceived because I've got to go save Sirius. And that hero thing just gets shot at this point. He's done. It's been stripped. And it's been stripped by this Gothic setting he's in and the Gothic things he's wrestling with. The veil is a very Gothic symbol. The border between death and life, and in goes Sirius. And everything is torn down, and now here he's done with the saving people thing. He's got a lot of questions that need answers now, and he's got a lot of Dumbledore's toys to break. He has a lot of fun with that. He doesn't have fun with that, but I have fun watching him. On to Half-Blood Prince. So now he's had this terrible experience, he's been torn down, it's time to start the rebuilding process. And Dumbledore has got to start working on him and getting him ready to face Voldemort and go through his master plan. So we got the great early mention of Inferi in this. What are they? Don't really know. That's kind of cool because now we're freaked out a little bit. Like, everybody's a little bit scared of these things. And you get that later on, you get the whole Inferi versus a ghost thing in Snape's class and that whole funny scene that happens there. And that whole thing leads up to this great moment where Harry's being dragged underwater by an army of zombies. If you weren't scared at any point in Harry Potter before now, this should have done it, because that was really freaky. You've got in this book, more than any other perhaps, I think, Voldemort's mockery of death. You've got Inferi, obviously. He's controlling the dead because he's mocking them for dying. You should not have died. You're too weak. Those who are dead are weak, according to Voldemort, so he's going to control them. He's going to do what he wants with them. Then you've got this great scene with Katie Bell, where she reaches and she grabs the necklace. And the wording there is really clever. I don't know if you caught it, where it says, this necklace is supposed to kill, right? She got lucky, but it's supposed to kill. And the effect that it has before you die is Rowling's words, I think they were very careful, that Katie Bell rose 6 feet above ground and screamed. That should ring a bell, right? Because people who die go 6 feet below ground and rest in peace. They're silent. But Voldemort and the dark arts mock death. They're going to send you 6 feet above ground and make you scream while you die. Yeah. You got Horcruxes in this book. We finally get the explanation. There's a long history of this magical device in literature. And I made a connection in my book, Harry Potter and Imagination, between the Horcruxes and stories like The Giant's Heart by George MacDonald, where a giant places his heart to preserve his own life in a different object and that kind of thing. And I was like, all right, I think I'm right there. And then along comes the Warlock's Harry Hart. Was right. Not necessarily that Rowling read George MacDonald and then put that in her story, but that theme is there, that a person is dehumanizing themselves in order to keep themselves from hurt and pain, and that's exactly what the Warlock does. And then Dumbledore comes right in and says, and this is a lot like Horcruxes, and I just felt so vindicated in my theories. So you've got that. You've got the Gaunts, and this whole twisted family tree thing going on with the Gaunts. Here's people who are really messed up, and it's because they're blood. They're messed up. And that brings up the questions of, can I avoid my ancestry? And I think Harry has to see the Gaunts because he has to have a picture now of this is what not to do or to become. Don't be like this. And it seems obvious for Harry, but still you've got to see the picture of where Voldemort came from and what choices not to make and what not to be like. And of course we learn about the importance of pain and suffering through it from Dumbledore at the cave. And then onward to Deathly Hallows. The point of the tents. Did you know there was a point to the whole tent thing? Were you reading through that book going, are we ever going to be out of these tents? I thought it was fantastic, and people are calling me and sending me emails saying, what was going on with the tents? I said, just reread it and stop thinking about the normal school year structure, and you're going to be fine. And I think some people got that.